Hello, Sage here on the Sage channel, and this is Astroneer. This is a game I've seen a little bit about here and there, and I wasn't sure if I would like it or not, but I did see that it definitely had a fair few game mechanics and, well, seemed rather interesting, and luckily enough I was able to get my hands on it through Keymailer. So, I've been playing it for the majority of the 15th, and I'm going to go ahead and, well, load up my save, and I'll show you what this game seems to have to offer at this moment. And please note, as it says all over, this is a pre-alpha version of the game, and it's going to continue to grow. As this is a pre-alpha version of the game, please remember you might see some frame drops and silly nonsense going on all over the place. I'll be pointing out some of that just so you know what's sort of gone wrong, and don't think it's supposed to necessarily look like that if it does happen. Anyway, let's click forward and see this rather awesome game. So, right away, there's a fair amount of stuff on your screen. I've been pretty busy. When the game first starts you out, you don't really have all these little structures and stuff about you. You're basically in a relatively barren landscape with maybe a few trees, a lot of shrubbery and whatnot, and this little pod right next to you. In fact, it doesn't even have these little organic things on the back here. You just got the pod pretty much. And you can build out from this by, let's say, clicking on this little thing, and I'll actually click that again to let it go away. Move ourselves over here and click again. There we go, it pops out. And then you need some resin. You can find resin scattered about. It looks like these weird little tubular things. It's not really any really close to us, but I've mined up a little bit of it, and you should be able to see that right over here. Is that resin? That's compound. Oh dear, I thought I had some for demonstration purposes. Well, we'll just have to go ahead and find... Oh right, I have some in my storage right here. So, we're going to grab up some resin, and we're going to store it on ourselves. So, I'm just left-clicking on this and clicking on ourselves to store it. My inventory is full, and let's check our inventory by pressing Q, and you can see this zooms open. We're actually going to see... Yeah, we're going to do that right there. So I can store one extra thing, and that's because you have a crafting system here at the bottom. You just left and right click through these to show different things you can craft. We did just drop the resin, and it seemed to have flung away somewhere. Also, moving the screen. Well, if I'm left clicking on this, how am I getting my mouse up? It's always up. This game is a little bit sort of like WoW in a way, and the fact that your mouse is always moving, and you right-click to change your camera view around. It works relatively well. Anyway, since we have this set up to craft something that would take a compound, it took the compound on the slot, put it in the crafting point, and now we can store one more item up here in just our standard inventory. And again, I'm pressing Q to open and close this thing. So let's go run over to that starting point over here. There we go. And we'll now click on this, and it'll automatically take that resin out of our backpack and pop it in there. And you can see now it requires 2 more resin, or we can click on this and continue expanding it out. We're not going to expand any farther right now. I'll just click one of those. It'll take the 2 out, and it builds it into this platform. From here, you can build out quite a few different things. A printer, a fuel condenser. I got a whole bunch of stuff here. But one of the first things you're going to want is going to be, right there, the researcher, and that just needs compound. Where do you get compound? Well, the same place you do get resin, the stuff we just used. You run about this beautiful open world, which is rather interesting, and you find it about on the ground. When you do find it, you press E on your keyboard to get out the little miner thing here, and then you go to town collecting it. So, hoppity hop, there we go, we got some stuff right here. And you see as I collect that up on the back of my gun, right down here, at the very back of it, you can see it slowly fills it up. And once it's all the way filled up, it should pop off my gun. There we go, and it goes straight into your inventory. It's pretty cool. You can, of course, if your inventory gets full, let's actually run back over this way, because I think, did I see? Yeah, some compound. This is compound right here. We'll gather up a little tiny bit of this. There we go. And once your inventory gets full, it's just trying to fill it up right now. You actually mine pretty far. There we go. It just pops off the back, and you can keep on gathering. So what we're going to do right now, switch off that mode. We're just going to left-click to pick this up, and basically it's like carrying it in your hand all the way back. Now, you might have seen that oxygen message pop up, and you can see this little oxygen bar at the top of our character right there, right behind his head. Oh, we might be in trouble. We might die here. Well, at least we'll get to see the death system. Like I said, it's still alpha. Oh, there we go. We'll be alright. So sometimes things don't work. Like these little blue lines that you see running everywhere, I've put all of these in. they're sort of oxygen lines. So supposed to be able to carry oxygen and power to you to keep you, well, oxygenated and powered up. In fact, you can see that yellow bar running up and down our back. Well, you can go ahead and see that that'll drop down usually when we're mining. It's not really doing it because we're connected to the system right now, but there we go. Usually when you're mining up stuff, you'll see it drop down. It's not really doing it too much right now, but you get the gist of it. Let's pick you up and run back to base, as we needed our compound to continue advancing, didn't we, in my sort of explanation on how all this moves. Now, how do I build all of these little blue things out here to, well, allow us to run about without having to worry about running out of oxygen? Well, first you're not going to need these to get out so far because you'll have resources up close, but it's rather simple. It's one of the items you can build in here. So let's go ahead and switch over to tethers. There we go. And we can click on that middle button there and it just builds the tethers up. And then you simply press T to go ahead and put those down. And of course you can see the little line will tell you how it's going to link into the already existing system. So if we want to run this way without running out of oxygen, we can go ahead and place that. And you can see the little tether runs along it. It's wonderful. I adore it, actually. It works really well. Also, am I seeing lots of stuff flying through the air? Are we alright here? There's sometimes large storms that'll come up and you can die from those. Anyway, let's grab this and keep on heading back to base. Looks like we might have dropped another one. Boop. Hey, nope. No, I'm pointing at you. I'll pick you up. And where was our little demonstration platform? I think it was right over here, wasn't it? Yeah, here we go. So this was our research platform I was showing you guys. Probably one of the first things you'll want to build. Blah. You put that together, and then you click the little middle icon. Ta-da! We've now built our research platform. Now, one problem with this, you can see its power bars here are all filling up. That's because I got a bunch of solar panels stuck around here. Little tiny ones all over the place. As well as if we keep hopping about, you'll see these big batteries that I have stuck in all over the place, as well as these solar panels, which I think, can I actually put these down here on their own and connect them in? No, I noticed some of them seem to have connection ports, but not these guys. They actually have to connect onto things like that. So you can see I have a huge power structure. I even have gone underground pretty far. So you starting out, you're probably not going to have any power for this. One of the easiest ways to get your power started, and well, you're going to need power for a lot of different machines, is that thing over there. Right there. You'll even see some of those yellow dots scattered about. I'm going to hop in a buggy to get us over there quicker that I've built. Because yes, there are some vehicles in this game. So we can buzz ourselves over here. You'll see a lot of these craters and stuff. That's because I've dug up lots of supplies. Over there's another spaceship that I landed. Because you can even get some spaceships. Let's go ahead and mine this up. I'm just left clicking on it. You can see power. It's just all it is. There we go. And this little node, and nodes like this, they regenerate. So they're an endless resource. Like that over there is, what do we call that? The other material I've completely forgotten the name of. We got some right here, resin. And then I think there was a compound one somewhere that I seem to have lost. Anyway, those are endless resources, so you don't have to worry about losing them. By the way, if we wanted, we could pop this off, and we can just put these on here as a power source for our vehicle instead of the solar power. I personally prefer solar. You can, of course, use that also as just a way to transport materials back. I have a sneaking suspicion. Well, I'm amazed, actually. I expected... Okay, yeah, that's what I expected. I expected that to fall off a lot sooner. By the way, if you ever flip your vehicle, just walk up to it and press tab. It should automatically flip it back over. Tab is how we're getting in and out of most things. Anyway, there you go. You would now have this energy. And we could go ahead and place that on our research platform to go ahead and research things. Now, you're not going to just grab things like this, like a little bit of lithium, and stick that in the middle. No, that's not working. What you'll need to find are these large spheroid sort of things. And to find those, well, I went underground, but you can find them on the surface. In fact, let's see, is there any large plant life? I think you often get lucky and find it under such things, or under wreckage. So let's go ahead and check under this and see if we find one really quickly. Also, you might have noticed earlier I had gathered up some plant life. I think I called that out when it happened. So you can sometimes use that, not for researching, but for other things. So anything down there? No. Let's go underground, so I can show you what I've been doing underground as well, because that's where you start to find other resources. Because you're not going to need that research platform only. You're also going to need a smelter, a printer, and some other things. You could even get the printer before you get the smelter, because I believe it just takes compound, and there's some things like this storage rack, which I have a bunch of those just sitting over here, storage racks, to go ahead and store things. They're a bit annoying. I honestly wish you just clicked on them and they opened up an inventory screen like this, because it ends up with 4 things there and 4 on the other side. And I end up just using pits like this to store stuff usually. Like you can see, I got a bunch of aluminum down there. But anyway, smelter to make aluminum and copper. But you can go ahead and build up your printer here first, because there's some other components you might want to start building. Like, oh, I can build a new cabin, or it's a habitat. Huh. I discovered some of these blueprints. You start out with some pretty simple stuff. Anyway, let's go down into the mines and find that thing for research, because, like I said, I discovered a lot of those. I did that through the research thing. And you see I also built another research cabinet down here, because I didn't like having to run all the way up. And now you're going to see some frame rate drops here, because the game starts being a bit unhappy with me. Because, as you can see, I've done a lot of these blue tethers. I think it starts to get a bit grumpy when you stick 1 trillion of these down here. I've kind of gone maybe a bit overboard on it. This isn't really the main bulk of it. If we were to keep going this way and run ourselves around, you'll see that I've mined myself around some of these caves. I've mined these big holes in the ground out. Yeah, and I found there was a huge opening down there, so I actually ended up trying to make my way over to the side wall here, where I could find a way to go all the way down there. Oh! And I've almost killed ourselves. But anyway, yeah. Went down pretty far. Now, anything that you can click on like this, where it says unknown research, is something you can research. You can even see somehow there's a crashed satellite over there. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and take this up to the surface. Oh, and hydrazine here, we could mine that for fuel for our rocket ships and stuff like that. Or you can actually just build a energy condenser, or whatever it's called, and make your own fuel. You can even make a trading post up on the surface. I'll show you that in a minute. If I can just get past this. Can't jump while you're holding these, I found, which can be rather annoying. But anyway, as I was saying, I made a trading post, and I was basically, since I have solar panels all over, producing energy and then selling that condensed energy as fuel to traders up in the sky. I'll show you that in 1 second here. Let's just get on up to the surface with this. And we still have it. Don't worry, as long as you've left-clicked it once, you can't really seem to lose it. By the way, some of these here are showing like the resin. Usually after you've built from another side of them, you can't upgrade these anymore. I don't know if that's intentional or not. That's just the way it seems to be for my build. I get the feeling they're going to be advancing this game rather quickly. Alrighty, so back up to the surface. Let's find our researcher that we built. There it is. Put that in there. Click this interesting little button in the middle. Click. Ta-da! And you'll sometimes get a resource, but a lot of times, especially at first, it'll go ahead and say, research complete, and give you a new thing. It'll tell you right in the bottom middle of your screen. It's pretty damn nifty. What else do we have to show here? I think... yes, we were going to show the trading thing. So, anyway, I was talking about how I was producing power. I have all those solar things I showed you, those little solar panels, some of the bigger ones like the one on the rover. I have those hooked up all over. I have a wind turbine over there. But what I do have a lot of are these fuel condensers. And what I do here is I go ahead and click these, and they go ahead and fill up these little fuel canisters. And we'll just go whatever. I need to clear our inventory here. Let's just go ahead, and you can sort of move about, and the inventory will hover in midair, and it'll let you sort of shift it from side to side if it's blocking your view. It's kind of cool. It's very nice and intuitive for the most part. We'll keep those. Shifting all of this around, giving ourselves some space really quick. And we'll go ahead. There we go. Pick up our fuel containers that we just built, and we can actually go ahead and make some more, actually. Look at that. Press the button again. And that's one of the reasons I have all these batteries, so even at night when the sun is obscured, we can go ahead and just keep producing, well, these, or run our research machines, or anything else we really please. And I find the UI and everything very, well, nice, actually. At first I was a little bit unsure whether or not I'd like it. You know, it's not a proper UI, it's all on screen. I think the only thing that's given me any grief is honestly just the fact that when you mouse over yourself, that's when you see the north, south, east, and west. I'd like some way to be able to see that, maybe a toggle to always have it on, but besides that, it's been really the only gripe I've had with the UI. Everything else has been very nice, and honestly quite intuitive. Anyway, this is the trading system over here. You start out the same way as anything else, and then, you know, just cycle through the different options you can build. And you can see I'm actually able to place these on the other side of them. You don't have to walk around to the other side. I can't actually put these two on it. Oops. But anyway, we can go ahead and switch through these. It'll tell us how much we can get for all the stuff we put on there. So let's say we wanted to get some lithium, because it seems to be very rare. I've never found like a big source of it. I always find it just those things we bring back to the research platform and it pops those into it. So we can go ahead and tell it to trade those with that little click of the button and away it goes. Is that it there, zipping away, one little dot I saw? And in a second or two here, it'll come on back with the resources we requested. So we put all that hydrazine, which is just condensed energy, and we're trading it up for some lithium. Any second now. Oh yeah, you can click on yourself too to get this open. Oh, and by the way, we still had another bit of compound just stuck in our inventory there, which keeps wanting to go back down to that bottom slide because it uses it there. Anyway, ta-da! And now we have a bunch of lithium. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Which is pretty nifty. And we can go ahead and then bring that lithium over to, let's say, our printer. I've been printing a lot of batteries, so when the sun goes down, we can have a huge excess of power. And then we can go ahead and print ourselves one of these. And you can see the power flows through all these cables in the background. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous game. Also, it would appear a storm is coming in. So we can't really see these filling up right now. Probably not going to want to be out here. You can see our character slowing down a bit. And the storms will actually kill you if you're not cautious. If you're near a vehicle, I usually suggest hopping in the vehicle. You seem to be safe in that. As far as I can tell, the vehicles don't get trashed. You can actually see the storms coming usually. It looks like this one only sort of nicked us. It doesn't look like it was a direct hit with us, which is quite cool that you can have a storm just sort of almost pass you by, just sort of disturb you. If it's a direct hit, these little cuboid blocks and rocks will start flying at you. Anyway, you can see this battery is fully charged. Let's actually go ahead and mount the battery. Let's remove this seat from that vehicle and mount the battery there. So we have some power, and let's actually go ahead and build a crane on top of this spaceship. And to do that, we'll need copper. Looks like 4 copper. So I have to go find that in the depths below. I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead until I've done that. Oh, there's some in the distance here. Wait, no, that's fuel again. Dagnabbit. Oh, by the way, since I'm now talking again, this is energy. You can just collect these to give you some more energy. This is oxygen you can collect. It'll give you some more oxygen. Usually you have to get about to the full stack, and then it'll actually go onto your back and it'll use up these bits of oxygen we're collecting. Same with the energy here. Get a full stack of that. Oh, and don't mind if it's like, oh, if I start mining something else, will I lose what's on my gun? Nope, don't worry. When you start mining that same material again, it'll keep track of how much you had of that. Where the heck is the copper? There it is. That's what we were looking for, right there. So let's go ahead. We'll take this little tiny bit of oxygen. We'll use that up in a second. We don't need compound. It's a dime a dozen. So let's go ahead, grab ourselves up some copper. And remember, we said we're going to need 4 of them, so we're going to have to mine up quite a bit of this, actually. So that's 3. 1 more. And can we get you? You seem to be stuck on something invisible. Probably just... Nope, I have no idea what you're stuck on. Come on. Bugger. Well, let's grab this one here and start running back. And I am now suffocating because I went too far away from my setup and got myself lost down here like a fool. Like an absolute fool. There's my... Quick! Get to the oxygen line! Don't be a suffocating fool! Oh, look! The oxygen line connect! He's got air! Okay, I died. Dagnabbit. And it respawns you either at a spaceship or at this point there. And you don't lose anything. Even, you know, some of these things at the bottom here, like let's say I built filters that basically, I think, well, actually filters probably don't do what I was hoping. I thought they were rebreathers. But filters, generators, wind vanes, solar things, you can actually put them up here on your actual character right here, which is pretty nifty. Yeah, I've been using them hoping they extend my oxygen. Not the most useful. I've been underground, so I didn't have the actual solar things. Anyway, let's go down there and get our body. Ow, I hurt myself with that fall. I usually end up sliding in. There we go. Much better. Okay. I think we were over this way. Right around this corner, I think, is where we died. There we go. There's our body. Took me a little bit longer to find it. Anyway, once you get back to your body, you can just click on it. Brings it open like this. Press Q to get our inventory open as well, and transfer back some of our stuff. We need to go back there and grab a little tiny bit more copper. There we go. One more. Will be good if we can get one more. You know, it occurs to me that it's a good idea if we actually just bring these damn tethers with us. And then go ahead and press T and start putting them down. That way, as you can see, we have an oxygen line that come with us. It does seem to drop our frame rate currently, but it will allow us to actually go exploring this area without dying so easily. Also, if you have batteries or things that are producing energy like a coal power plant or solar power during the day, it will directly feed that energy to you through these lines, as long as they're all hooked up correctly. And we seem to have run out of them, but I think that's more compound right there, yeah? So we can just go ahead, drop that off, and build some more tethers, which I think I went past once there, but no harm done. We got there anyway. Coolio. So now, we can just keep exploring. And you can see the tethers do also light up your way, which is pretty damn awesome. Oh, there, that's why. There's one little... Got it! And it wasn't enough. Dang nabbit. And just a heads up, under almost all of this stuff, you'll see there's researchable stuff. So mine up pretty much all this and you'll find things to research. So you can just keep on going for ages and ages. Oh, and by the way, if you place one of these in the wrong spot, left click on it and you can move it lickety-split. And there we go. Oh, I'm stuck on a wall. Let's not get stuck here. Just about done. And let's see. Yep, that was our last of our little nodes. This is the copper ore we wanted, and there we go, full up. That's the 4 copper ore we needed. And I figure we'll fill it the rest of the way up, so we'll have one more we'll just carry back by hand. There we go. Click, and away we go. All the way back our long trail that we just laid in. It's pretty awesome. I'm assuming they're going to do something about the frame rate drops that appear to happen when you start putting in a bunch of these. I have no idea why it's happening. Maybe the GPU is not being utilized and somehow it's all on CPU, so when this happens, when you have some sort of large string of these, it starts gobbling up CPU usage. Not sure exactly, but I'm sure they'll get it sorted. Well, I'm hopeful. When I first saw this game, I really wasn't sure about the art style, but after you start running around it with this nice music, it really sort of draws you in, and you start falling in love with it pretty dang quick. Even if you have something else going on the screen, the small tones of the music are, well, quite pleasant. By the way, if you ever destroy these things, don't be too close to them. They have a habit of just killing you. Whew, that took a while. Finally, we're back up here at the surface. We can go ahead and now refine our materials. And, did we break something? I seem to have bumped something. Anyway, we'll go ahead and put the things we want to refine right there. We'll rotate our view here so we can actually see it. And click it out there. And we actually ended up bringing back 5 of these. And then we'll go ahead and click the button that should be... There we go. Had to take out one of the ones I'd produced previously. Right there in the middle, and let's actually remove this, just drop it over there, left click the drop, pretty cool. And you can see it goes through these and makes as many as it can. And usually it seems like if you fill up all 4 slots, right now it stops before it's done. It has this little tiny bit. I'm not sure if this is intentional. It made 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. But it seems like if you do fill them all up, it'll let you take that tiny bit that's left over and make a whole nother one out of it. It's not showing it right now, but in a second here, boom, it makes another one. So I'm not sure if that's a glitch or an intended feature, as in you fill it all the way up and it'll use it all. It does mean you have to, of course, use a whole power thing for just one, but I don't know, saves you from going back underground. Anyway, let's go ahead and add the copper back into this thing here. There we go, and one last one, there we go. If you just left click somewhere, it'll also just point, because this game does have multiplayer. I have no idea how to set it up. Maybe it's as simple as Steam Overlay or something, but yeah, you just click and your character kind of goes, whoa! And there's a few different characters to choose from, which I don't think they have any technical difference. Anyway, we got the materials, let's click on that. It'll now add a crane to our little ship there. Now, what's the point of the crane? Well, you can put a few different things on the end of it. If you want to see the crane get done, there we go. Ta-da! But let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and put a, not a winch on it. I'm pretty sure you can put a winch on it, but we're going to put a drill on it. There we go, drill head. And it takes copper and copper. Luckily, we brought back a little extra copper. Thank Christ for that. Alright, there we go. And engage. The sound work in this game is also, well, pretty damn good, honestly. It's all very pleasant. Everything in it is so far been, well, shockingly pleasant. Anyway, we can click that on there. And now we have a working drill. A little bit finicky to get to the interaction points sometimes. But, oh, there it was. Ah! You have to press tab. It can be a bit finicky. I kind of wish you could just left click on them, or middle mouse click to select. Instead, you have to sort of finagle yourself about until you see this sort of holographic overlay of you in the right spot. Which, as I just said, it can be a bit finicky sometimes. There we go. I'm in the drill now. And you can see we can zoom out a little bit here. Mouse scroll. And I can drill stuff up if I wanted to. It's got a pretty good reach. I kind of wish the drill arm was a bit longer, as right now it seems like it's about as long as your manual tool. But one of the pluses is you can go ahead and be drilling stuff up, and if you get materials out of this, it'll be storing it on those little rack points on the back of the drill, or if you have a lot of storage containers, it'll go ahead and store it on there. It's really quite nice. Anyway, let's press tab and hop out of that. You can see I experimented around with having these sort of drill convoys. I had it attached to this. You can simply click on some things like the back point. If it's close enough to another one, you can click on it. It'll connect to another one of these. I did have a larger drill vehicle, but I drove it into a cave, and it's never getting out of there. It was a much larger one, but yeah, it's staying down there forever, probably. Oh, also, if you're playing this currently, you can't seem to remove any of these. I'd hope you could just remove the drill so you could swap it out. Same with this. You can't seem to do that. I don't think. Can I? Oh my god, I can do that. Well, that just makes a huge amount of storage then. I was thinking just build these small ones, but you're going to get a whole lot more bang for your buck if you build the storage thing for the rover and then add these little storage things on top of that. Still wish they would do their UI a little bit different, though, on these. More like your backpack. Anyway, I think that's about everything I can show you here. This is like a Tier 2 spaceship. We got enough fuel in it. You just use those fuel machines over there, click and drag, plug them in there, and it'll drain it, fill it up. I should show you one just because it is so pleasant. There we go. Click that. Come over here. And left click right there. And it drains it and fills up the big tank. It's so cool. Let's press tab and hop in here. And now we can click this, and we can take off. And you'll see that I do have this sort of string thing here reaching back down. That's because I actually landed elsewhere and made a whole other base, and it sort of added a powered connection cable to it. That never really disconnected after I took off, but pretty early. And anyway, you can land at any of these points that you can click on. I can't seem to currently find a way to get to another planet. Don't see anything like that, but it's pretty nifty. Anyway, let's go ahead and land over there at the base I did set up. I clicked on it. You see the ship slows up and then does this sort of zoom in thing. It's a bit quick and spooky, but I think it's pretty nifty overall. And there we go. We're at our new place, or the place I was earlier, I should say, where you can see I actually set up a little tiny base off of that and research thing. Anyway, guys and gals, that's about it right now. I can't really figure out much more to do in this game besides trying to mine deeper and deeper into the earth. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, not sure. But this game is painfully pleasant and has mountains and mountains of potential. Is that a storm blowing in? Well, we got a vehicle here. We're safe. We don't have to run underground, which is what I was originally doing when I found that cave system down there, as I was just hiding from the storms. Well, usually you can see the storms coming, by the way, too, so I don't know, maybe this is just different weather in a different area. Don't know. There's a lot of different stuff to this game, and I'm pretty sure I've scratched the surface. Hopefully I'll find more, or hopefully they'll add more. Oh, this thing seems to have died. It used to have a little bit more color to it. Anyway, guys and gals, that's it. Thanks a bunch for watching, and I guess I'll see you all next time. I'm going to hop back in this capsule that seems to be backwards, and hopefully the door will close. It didn't close. Well, I'll just pretend it's closed so I feel safe. See you guys next time. Ta-ta.